Good morning, everyone. I'm starting off the day here in southern Illinois with this. This is Mary's River Covered Bridge. It's a really pretty old bridge. This was built in 1854. It's right next to a modern version that is much uglier. Let's go take a closer look. Look how just complicated this is. So many pieces. I believe this is the only covered bridge remaining in southern Illinois. Covered bridges were a thing because they greatly lengthened the expected life of a wooden bridge. So a regular wooden bridge that was not covered could be expected to last about 10 years. But when you cover it and protect it from rain and extended sunlight exposure, it could last for 100 years. So that's why covered bridges were a thing. Here's the river that the bridge is straddling, Mary's River. Did I say the name of this bridge? It's called Mary's River Covered Bridge. I don't know if I said that already or not, it's early. The bridge was in continuous use from 1854 to 1930, and during that time it was a toll road, and then it was shut down, and then the state took it over at that time, or a little bit after it closed. And just next to the bridge here is a historical marker for something relating to the Revolutionary War. I had no idea the Revolutionary War came this far west, but basically it says that in the third year of the war, an American commander crossed the river here and camped here, and then continued on to the town of Kaskaskia and captured it from the British. Did you know the Revolutionary War came this far west? I did not. That's really interesting. Huh. And by the way, if you're not up to speed on my adventures, this is a 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. This is my sister's minivan that I'm borrowing for about 5 days to go on adventures in Illinois and to neighboring states. I camped last night on national forest land in Missouri, and then this morning I crossed over back into Illinois. And today I'll be spending the day mostly in southern Illinois, but I'm going to be camping in a different state, so stay tuned for that. Interestingly, last night, right before sunset, as it was getting dark, as I was frantically trying to find a campsite, I passed through a town called Kaufman in Missouri. And I noticed in the town that there were some buildings that were like falling down, others that were destroyed, some camper trailers that were on their sides, and just like lots of downed trees. And so I looked it up, and apparently a tornado came through 3 days ago. It was a pretty powerful tornado, an F3 tornado, and it didn't kill anyone, thankfully, but it did do a fair amount of damage to that town, to Kaufman, and to a couple of neighboring towns. So pretty intense. I didn't have time to film anything about it yesterday, but I went back this morning when I had more time and a little bit more daylight, and I filmed some brief footage of some of the destruction there, and I'll run that now. After driving through several miles of farm country, this is really out in the middle of nowhere. I'm at Piney Creek Ravine Nature Preserve. This place is marked on Google Maps, but there aren't any signs out on the road or the highway out there or anything saying, the nature reserve is this way or the nature preserve is this way. It's the kind of place where you kind of need to know it exists in order to know it exists. Like, you're not going to be driving down the road and see the sign for it and think, oh, that sounds fun, let's go there. So I like that. There's a little waterfall here. Don't have a super clear view of it, but it's a good 20 or 25 feet high. Okay, so the main reason I've come here is because this is a rock art site. Piney Creek Rock Art. There's a lot going on here, and it's kind of hard to tell what is prehistoric rock art and what is more historic graffiti. Like, some of it is obvious, like obviously this is historic. But this looks older and weathered. That right there in the middle, for example, that is the symbol of the Masons. That is certainly not ancient. But the red pictographs above it, maybe they are, maybe they're not. I mean, this stuff in red is not. These are letters. But maybe that kind of curving arc, sun ray kind of thing, maybe that's old. Not sure. And this one looks old. It's pecked into the rock. Of course, the ones that are pecked or carved into the rock are petroglyphs. The ones that are painted on are pictographs. There's just a shocking amount of modern graffiti here. It's much harder to find the real stuff among all the new stuff. I'm fairly certain that these, like, there's one here, one here, one here. Looks like this one has been painted over, maybe to make it more visible. And then there are some animals down here. This one, and this one. Interesting stuff. You know, it's just such a shame that there's so much of it that has been, if not outright destroyed, then just obscured by so much modern cruft on top of it. And then there's a boulder next to the main cliff here with this fella's John Hancock here. Then I don't know if you can see it, but there's a kind of a snake pattern. That looks ancient to me. That looks prehistoric to me. The rock itself is interesting though. So the main portion of the rock here, this is sandstone. And then there's this stuff that is obviously a different rock or mineral. I don't know what that is, but it's harder, and so it erodes at a different rate compared to the rest of the rock. And there are just these veins of it running all through the cliff here. That was a really fun hike. I enjoyed that. A really pretty area, pretty little waterfalls and cliffs, and I realized as I was hiking, you know what? I want to keep hiking, so I've decided to make today a hiking day. I've driven about 45 minutes from that last spot. I'm now at Little Grand Canyon in Shawnee National Forest. I'm gonna do a 3-mile long loop trail. I'm here. I don't know if it's better to do it clockwise or counterclockwise. I'm gonna do it clockwise and see how it goes. It's been about 20-something minutes. I've gone a little bit over a mile. Not a whole lot to report, but I did just get to this nice viewpoint here. You can see the edge of the canyon. From here, the trail continues on down, and then I'll hit the canyon here, and then I'll be walking through the canyon, through the Little Grand Canyon. This place is just a wild jungle wonderland. It's so pretty. So that narrow little canyon part, that wasn't Little Grand Canyon. That was kind of a side canyon leading down to the mouth of the canyon. I think I'm in the canyon now. I'm in Little Grand Canyon now. This is the bottom. This is where the trail is, and then this is one side of the canyon over here. You can't really see the other side, but this is all the other side of the canyon. Well, this certainly isn't on the same scale as the Grand Canyon, but doesn't mean it's not a pretty place. Okay, this is pretty cool. The trail goes up the draw. Nice. Well, that was a beautiful and kind of weird hike, because those two little gullies or draws that go up and down from the canyon, from Little Grand Canyon, those were the best part. The canyon itself was, you know, it was pretty, but it wasn't amazing. But those two narrow little chutes, those were amazing. That hike was worth doing just for those. So I am glad I did that hike. That was a lot of fun. And then I have driven 25 minutes to the next location, to the third hike of the day. It's not much of a hike. It's like a 0.3 mile loop, but the main attraction here is a natural bridge. It's called Pomona Natural Bridge, and I've seen a lot of natural bridges and arches in my neck of the woods, especially in Utah, so it'll be fun to see one here in Illinois. The top here is about as wide as a sidewalk, so you want to watch your step, but it's not like a tightrope or anything. It's bigger underneath than I thought it would be. Yeah, what a cool thing. Not much of a hike, but absolutely worth the stop. Alright guys, well after quite a drive, it took about an hour and 45 minutes to get here. I'm at the final hiking destination of the day. This place is called Garden of the Gods. Not to be confused, of course, with the Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I'm still in southern Illinois, although I have been to the one in Colorado. I don't have a lot of time here today. I have about an hour and a half of daylight left. I think I'm going to start off by doing a short little trail called the Observation Trail, I think. Shouldn't be too long and shouldn't be too difficult. Okay, yeah, Observation Trail. It is a 1/4 mile long. That's it. I'm right here, and it's a loop. Weather-wise, I've gotten extremely lucky with the weather today. It's been raining quite a bit, actually, but the rain is when I'm driving between hikes, when I'm driving between locations. It hasn't rained while I've actually been hiking, although it feels like it here because the trees are full of water and it feels like it's raining because they're dripping on me. Wow, what a place. Look at this. Look at this view. This is incredible. It's a gorgeous time of day to be here too. The sun is getting ready to set. There's some mist in the forest here. And the rock formations are just really impressive and really beautiful. Yeah, this is just really, really, really pretty. And here's an entirely new section of rocks. Well, I think that incredible vista was a good note to end my visit to this place on. I had wanted to do another trail, like a 3-mile long, longer loop trail that goes through this area, but I just don't have the time. I mean, it'll be dark in 45 minutes, and I still need to find somewhere to have dinner, and then I need to go find a campsite, which I'll be doing in the dark. I don't love finding campsites in the dark. It's much easier when you can see, especially when I'm not familiar with the area I'm camping in. But when it comes down to it, I'd rather spend my daylight hours seeing and doing interesting things than sitting around at camp. So let me figure out dinner and camp here, and then I'll see you guys later on tonight in probably a few hours. Well guys, it's late. I'm tired. I found a campsite. It's not a very good campsite. I drove around for about an hour trying to find a spot that I liked. This spot is just basically a pull-out on the side of a dirt road. I'm in Kentucky, believe it or not. You'll have to stay tuned. Be sure to watch the next video to see what exactly I'm going to be doing here. But overall, I had a great day. Really enjoyed my adventures in southern Illinois. Each of those hikes was really unique and really beautiful and great, and I enjoyed all of them. I think southern Illinois is kind of an underrated hiking destination, under-the-radar hiking destination. As I was driving around today between the different spots I had planned on visiting, I saw signs along the side of the road pointing off in other directions to other really interesting looking, interesting sounding places. And so I think there are a lot of little beautiful nooks and crannies, worthwhile nooks and crannies to explore in that part of Illinois. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what your favorite part was. I'm tired. Good night. I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.